Hey there, everybody. My name is Chris. This is Football Manager 24, Swansea breaking the game one last time. I think we've got a tentative release date. I think it's like November 4th, something like that. I can't remember. I'm not looking it up right now. I am currently sick. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. My voice is really bad. I got a really bad throat. And I've decided to record anyway because I haven't recorded in the last day or so, and I don't want keep missing days on the channel. I just want to keep in a constant upload schedule. So yeah, I feel like crap. I'm still going to be here, and we're going to play both the FA Cup final and the Champions League final, knowing that if we win them, we got 101 points in the league, by the way. So excuse me. So Centurions checked, Invincibles not checked, every other cup competition and the league checked. Carabao, UEFA Super Cup, Community Shield, all those four are ticked. Champions League final against Real Madrid again. The rematch from last season. And then Arsenal, who we played so many times over the last couple of years. There is a way, right? Oh, excuse me. There is a way to check, I think, like how many times you've played them. Isn't there a head-to-head? Didn't there used to be a head-to-head somewhere? Didn't there used to be a head-to-head? I'm not sure. I do think the easiest way for me to do it right now is probably go here and just check. So we're going to play them now. We played them very recently. Big win. Because we played basically the B team. Not that it mattered. And then we played them at our ground and absolutely battered them. And that was it this season. Last season, a little more contested. Champions League, of course, we knocked them out on the way to getting the win, but they did beat us. They got their draw at home. And then earlier on in that season, they put us up the cup. A draw there, and a 10-man win for us there. So, yeah, a lot of times over the last couple of seasons, especially last season, I guess, more that we played them. I thought maybe we had a cup game, but I'm conflating that with last season, obviously. But we know them. It's very kind of fierce rivalry. They came second in the league this year. They didn't really do much last year, but they've had an amazing turnaround. To be fair, from last year, it's like 31 points, if I'm correct. Whereas I haven't got that wrong. Yeah, 31 points, and we've got 12 extra points from last season. So they've definitely had a much bigger glow up, and pretty much have been the consistent contenders for so long. We compare them with a bunch. Well, there's Liverpool. Early on and mid part of the season, they were there, but they kind of fell off. They did, they came back up and they stayed where they were. Newcastle never really did much against them. Brighton for a period, and that's really it. Brentford very, very slightly there. West Ham almost a couple of times. But Arsenal will be very comfortable in that second place, and to be fair, we've been very comfortable in first place pretty much. So I would say the best two teams across the season, the points total, everything else, kind of match up to that. Liverpool have an argument of being in second for so long, but that's just where it's been. So that's going to be a real little tough one. Like I say, Real Madrid were against them. We did win 4-2, of course, in our live com at the end of last season, going 2-0 down, rebuilding our tactic after Frimpong went down injured, of course, rebuilding the tactic and getting across the line quite convincingly in that second half of that game. So I'm pretty good with like where we are and what we're doing and whatnot, but we have been consistently breaking the game. And so, yeah, this is a chance to get a quadruple, maybe sextuple, depending if you count Super Cup, Community Shield or not. Most people won't. But highlight that it would be an actual sextuple because technically we already have 4 trophies, so whatever. But we got 2 games back to back where we're going to have these these chances to make even more history, and especially this FA Cup. This is now the biggest trophy that we have never won as a club. Because in this save now, we've added to our League Cup triumph with everything else. We got the Champions League, we got Premier Leagues, we got the Super Cup. We won the Championship, not just went up in the playoffs. We got a second Carabao League Cup, and then the Community Shield. We've won 2 of those now. And you can see we won the old League 1, League 2 back when they were Division 2 and Division 3, I believe. As well as a bunch of other mental stuff, including the old English 3rd Division South, which is where Swansea joined the English Pyramid. I think in somewhere around 1929, 1927? It's 1927. But anyways, around that point. So we're coming up on almost 100 years of Swansea being in the English system. So, yeah. It's quite, it's been quite fun. But the one thing missing from this list is still that FA Cup. So this is kind of the big game to come in. You can see I've got some deals. I did offer people out and just took whatever bids were in. Really, Mascara I wanted more for, but couldn't get. I tried to provoke bidding wars, but it's very difficult outside the windows to get a proper bidding war. Sometimes I get 2 or 3 clubs interested, but I don't know if I've ever had more than 2 clubs actually bidding. I'm not convinced this is the right move. I think he's just a physical beast who's really good in the air, and that could be all I really need a centre-back, to be honest with you. Carboni had to go. We did get... Sorry, I said a little bit more for Muscat. I got a little bit less... No, sorry. I think I said I got a little bit less than I wanted from Mascara. I got a little bit more than I wanted from Mascara. I tried to provoke a bit more to get even more. Carboni, I got less than I expected. I was actually looking at like 70-odd million for him, prepared to take 60, and then, again, just not a lot of interest there. So yeah, I don't know where Fenerbahce are getting all this money from. I didn't realize there was that kind of money in the Turkish league. Apparently there is. And then Bergvall, the big surprise to me is Arsenal coming in for the former Tottenham player. And yeah, that's going to make it a little interesting. Tottenham to Arsenal. That's been done a couple of times before, once very famously, in very bad circumstances. And Sol Campbell still kind of holds that legacy with the Spurs fans who don't forgive him for betraying the club and everything, but I don't feel he was properly treated by Spurs, and he went to actually probably the best fit for him as a club. Didn't have to move because it's still North London, and someone was actually willing to pay him the money he probably wanted and deserved at that point. A little bit of arrogance on both sides, I certainly do feel. And if you're a Spurs fan, you probably don't agree with my interpretation, but that's just kind of the way I see it. So, Bergvall, not quite as crazy. He's gone through us as a middleman. He got sold for decent money instead of going on a free, and he wasn't your club captain. So, I think similar but different. Yeah, I did try and get a couple of others out. They didn't go, and I'm not sure. Like, they got upset. They've kind of calmed down in like the month and a half since, and I'm trying to figure out if I want to try and get him out this summer or whether to leave it till January or the end of next season as we go. I did find a very interesting looking right back that I liked a lot in Niall Murphy. Good personality, pretty good, but not great potential, which means Galina's probably still going to be the best. But at the same time, Galina's not joining until after he's 18. Whereas, Murphy's going to be in here with Kennelly right away, and I think that's fine. That gives me another option at right back. I got, a couple of okay backups, current ability and potential ability, behind Kennelly, who, again, isn't a top talent. But we're waiting so long for for Galena that I just felt might as well throw some of this crazy amounts of money I still got available to make that count. And then we got Zayden, and I love Zayden. I think he looks absolutely magical. Still waiting a little bit for him, but also Ian Davis. He's Welsh, he's young, he's got tons of potential. That gives us a couple of good young Welsh defensive-minded midfielders. I think he's definitely overwhelming defensive. And yeah, the price I didn't think was too bad. 22. You got to pay the British tax. You got to pay the youth tax, etc., etc. So I don't mind that one. And then up top again, I just went and spent some money. Cheap one, 15. Deal Deacon. I don't mind him at all. I think he looks very rough and raw, but very solid. Good size as well for 15. Good stats, good physicals for a 15-year-old. You know, never going to be anything in the air, which is a shame with his size. You would like that a little more. But, you know, crazy traits. Spirited, it's not one of the best personalities, but it's pretty damn good. And again, he kind of has everything I want him to have at a decent level for his age, and with a ton of potential to back it up. And then the big money went on Steve Thompson with his giant hair, which I don't like at all. But again, pretty decent, pretty much the same kind of player, more developed, a year older, and is a little better in the air, a little stronger as well. So, yeah, I went and searched for traits and personalities and kind of narrowed it down from there, found some good people that I figured would be good options to sign, and try to, again, I got 4 British players in. So I'm pretty happy with that. We are getting out a ton of money, but we're pretty much just spending all this money. We're going to make, you know, just under 13 million. And I'm not sure I'm done selling or buying. But at the moment, this is our current lineup. And as you can see, I think we're pretty good right now. Mamadashvili, I'm not even thinking of selling him. Frimpong's got a new contract, but he is one I'm thinking of. African Cup of Nations, the only reason why Diamande would even be a consideration for a sale. But I don't know. Marquez, club captain, I don't feel he's amazing, and he is 27. I think the players behind him still need a year or two, but he is getting to the point where I can probably maximize the sale from him if I want to. It's very difficult for me to do that, though. I'm a big fan of Marks in real life and in game. Danny Furtado come in, dominated. That's why Carboni's going out. Gonzalez could be sold. Bosley could be sold. Harvey Elliott could be sold. But right now, they're kind of dominating that midfield for me. I'm making it tough to break in, and the youngsters aren't quite good enough in a lot of the positions. But who knows? Colby probably stays. I'm kind of determined to make him work. After paying so much for him, I want Colby Mainu to be a superstar in this club, and I think we can do it. Evan Ferguson, someone puts a big enough bid in, it'll tempt me, but I just don't see any reason why that should happen, really. And Victor Roque, he's bounced around a little bit, but he's actually come really good. I really like him, and we don't have amazing players there anyway, so as you can see, the bench is really good. Oliveira's only a 2-star. Luke Griffiths, Emeran Shaley, Alex Di Battista, all 2.5-star currents. And yeah, Cameron Humphreys is one of Bayern Munich, which is crazy. But they don't, they're not going to bid till the window's open. I could force that one. That is another one I'm thinking of forcing. Like I say, really, it would probably be, if I had to sell people right now, I had to like just decide to do it right now. I think Nico Gonzalez, Harvey Elliott, Cameron Humphreys, and Emran Shaley would be the 4 main ones I would sell. Probably James Trafford as a 5. those would be the ones I would try and get out the club and maximize the money, because I do think we've got young players coming through that would lessen those blows quite significantly, who I do want to get into the team, like an Oliveira, a Velasco, Coxel, to make sure he's getting in the side more, and Andre as well in goal, the young Brazilian, would be the bench goalkeeper. So, yeah, and probably Callum King into that first team instead of Diamonde could be an option. Like I say, there's so many moving parts of this. We've got so many good players now, and so many potentially good players, that I'm second guessing everything I'm kind of doing right now. Especially when, yeah, it might be time to try and go invincible, win the Club World Cup. That's about it. That's, if we win these next 2 games, that's kind of all we really have left. And build a new stadium. I want to build a new stadium. I'd like to have a son come through the club, but it's so rare. I very rarely ever had that. I find it really interesting that Harvey Elliott keeps getting put aside for Cam Humphreys by my assistant. And I guess I get it to a certain degree, but I also really don't. It doesn't look like he should be. This, I think, looks a lot closer than the actual attributes. And then when you see them play, I don't feel exactly that, he's the Harvey takes over games or rescues us or anything of that nature. Whereas I think Cam's pretty highlighted in some games, including the live comms, where he's done just that. So it's a very intriguing question mark for me in that way. Can also cover defensive midfielder, which we don't need him to do, but technically he can. So yeah, I don't know. They're both very sort of similar. And the game tells me Harvey's better. I look at it and think Harvey's better. During games when I'm looking at it, I think Cam might just somehow be better. And my assistant keeps telling me Cam might be better. But this is the best team I have this season. Yamal would have been instead of Vitor Roque if I hadn't have sold him. And Furtado's become the main guy this year. I think really it would have been Carbone last season and maybe, start of this year. But his development's gone crazy. His performances have been amazing. And yeah, I think I've signed one of the best young players in the entire game. And so he has to be in there. But this is, at the start of the season, if I had to pick what I would expect to be my first team squad, not knowing Vitor Roque was coming in, but instead having Lamine Yamal, this would be my best side. So I feel pretty good about that. Now, all that being said, this isn't a give me. This is going to be really tough. I really like the Arsenal team. Interesting. Antonio Silva out for Javi Guerra. I don't know if there's that much in that one. Zinchenko instead of Calafiori, I find a little weird as well. Even more weird, to be sure. But Raya, White, Timber. Yeah, they sold Saliba and then they never really went and replaced him. That's the one thing I don't love about this Arsenal team, I would say. And then Gabriel's still there, but Zinchenko, Rice and Guerra, with Saka, Odegaard, and Martinelli behind Gabi Jesus. Kipaskelly, Moreno, Gyökeres, Ferran Torres, Calafiori, Abrams, Salmon, Silva, and Zubamendi. Yeah, a couple of players there on the bench I would have definitely expected to be in the first team. and they're not, mainly Gyökeres and Zubimendi. Big argument for Calafiori as well. I can't hate on the Ben White. I can't hate no Ben White pick, but I don't think it's their strongest lineup at all. Again, even the fans don't like Harvey Elliott, so a little bit of an interesting one. I point the finger. Go get revenge. They beat us, remember? Towards the end of the season. I'm going to use that even though it's not kind of relevant. Because we played our B team, but... So they're lining up, and this is us. And I do like our team a lot better. I think man for man, formation for formation, position for position, unit for unit, I do prefer us. They're already changing Royce and Guerra's position in that midfield, which is interesting. Okay, so they got some early pressure. We get the highlight. Gabriel does clear. Ferguson does right thing. Harvey Elliott. Neat goal. I don't know who got that header. I thought that was one of the defenders, or maybe it went through Dwyer and he tipped it over. It happened so quickly, I don't know. But, yeah, bit of a bullet. Don't like the way that they're on top in the stats and now they've got a highlight. And Ben White. And Martinelli, luckily he fluffed his lines. I thought after praising White there, he might come through and, like, hurt us a little bit. So Bosley, I mean, lovely shot. I think the early ball through would have been probably a better idea, but I can't hate what he did. We got 5 shots, none on target. Arsenal definitely had some pressure, but we're seemingly coping decently well. Until we do stuff like that, I mean, no pressure from them. That isn't even a press from them. And they, you know, they can turn it around like that. It's very, very poor from us. It's very, very poor. How close Arsenal are as well. And they're giving up the midfield. I think that's how they're doing it. They're putting people forward one-on-one. And they're kind of giving up midfield and asking us to come out to them so they can counter us. And I can't hate on it because, by and large, it's probably been working. As you can see how quick and easy they kind of got through us there. Yeah, we are underperforming. Can't hate them for doing it, but I think that's how they're beating us on these limited highlights. Both had 5 shots. They've not really had that many good chances. They just scored in their best. I would say we're probably outplaying them as a team. Individually, they're probably been better than us, and we're just not getting into good areas. I don't really want to change tactics, but I want to kind of... I want to kind of kick things into gear here a little bit more. Maybe just our approach play and try and solidify contact in the box. I'm sure they're just like sitting back and countering a lot, but there's a 6 shot that isn't on target either. Quick little berate before half time. Make sure the boys knows what's up. But yeah, that's just not good enough. At all. Fire up the boys and let's go very attack. I mean, they're going to counter us. We've got a shot on target. Without shooting them. But also, they haven't really beaten us. We've beaten ourselves. That's very lazy by Evan Ferguson again. It's just an offside trap that beats us uh, on their end of the pitch. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't have a good way to get round that without dropping the line back. But if I drop the line back, I'm going to compress midfield where I already have more bodies. And they're just going to pass it around the back and kill time. So I can't really do that either. Am I willing to do subs? Maybe? I don't love doing subs in this situation at this time. Again, I feel I need to. I've just taken off like 3 really good real life players and brought on 3 new gens. So I don't think it's a bad idea or whatnot. I just don't love it. That's really nice. Where are we gonna go with it? Yeah, see they're just pressuring the lines. That's much better from us there. We're not sitting on that last defender and trying to get through it. We're pulling those strikers out wide a little. Not really for them to be out wide, but so they're getting a little bit of like angular movement and lateral movement, not just vertically up the pitch. So they're not going to get caught offside as much. I will say one thing I don't like is this gap between our midfield and everywhere else. Now they could kill us if we push up just by playing out from the back. They 100% could do that. But at the same time, I think they're killing us a different way if we don't do that. We need to compress that middle of the field. Gonna encourage the boys. Gonzalez booking. Perfect time to take someone off. Both both centre backs on a 6.3, by the way. They've both made bad mistakes, apparently. Can't really sub them both. Velasco, I think, is a no-brainer. And I think I gotta stick with my captain. You are right-footed. I kind of want to swap positions just because Gay's not been great on that left spot. I mean, what are my other options? Like Furtado for Griffiths and Elliott for Murphy. Those are my others. I think I'm going to do that. I don't love it, but I think I'm going to do that. See if we can't get a little something towards the end of the game. We've definitely nullified them. We've also maybe nullified ourselves a little bit. But, yeah, we kind of let them dominate the first half, and they had, 90% of those shots before the hour mark. So everything up until our first goal, pretty much, they haven't really added to in a significant way. And most of our stuff's come in and around that goal. So I do feel a lot better about our trajectory than theirs. I don't love not having a sub on the bench. Still not happy. And I'm going to talk to individual players. Because, like, yeah. I think the only one I really need to talk to right now, well, actually, there's probably two, but yeah. No red for Gahey would be absolutely lovely. I was going to talk to Dominic Sobersley and tell him he's doing well, but I don't really feel like I want to. I probably want to do that and then immediately then encourage Thrawn attacking or very attacking. Odegaard's gone down. I didn't see what they did for that. Was that Torres who came on for Odegaard? No. Are they down to 10 men? Okay. Yeah. I mean, we've got to go for it now and take him on, right? We have to. They're a man down. Oh, Nelly. Yeah, they're a man down. Like this is 8 minutes of just like throwing everything at them and trying to get something going. How do I want to do this? What can I do here? What can I do? What can I do? Like, I can just be really dumb with it. I can drop Amaran in too if I really wanted to give myself some actual width outside for a change. Like, we're going to penalties if I don't do something like this. So we're going to try and get away from that. And Nelly from a corner. Ooh, Nelly from a corner. A minute away from penalties. Valiant attempt by Arsenal. Definitely outmatched me early on. Had my number for sure. But as the game went on, I adjusted. I got the job done. Tactically, I was able to kind of nullify the weaknesses they were exploiting and kind of set us up for better success. So I don't feel pretty good about that. I do feel pretty damn good about that. So another piece of silverware in, and it's the one that we've been missing all this time. The FA Cup belongs to Swansea as we continue to break FM just one game at a time, one season at a time. There is still one more to win. And to be 100% in winning all the trophies we are eligible for this year, one match. The rematch against the biggest club and the best club in this game, Real Madrid. Great to come back. Absolutely fantastic to come back. Ferguson, because he's the one that didn't respond. I'm going to say he's not looking for, we won, it was great. He's looking for a kick up the ass. He got it. And yeah, that's that's as close as you can come, boys and girls. That's as close as you can come. Oh my god. Um yeah. Yeah, that was brutal. What were our final match ratings? I wasn't really paying attention to them in the end. Sabozlai, okay, Furtado with his goal jumped up a bit. Harvey played so badly that his assist only counts him up to a 6.8. But yeah, our defense just didn't play well. And again, we're looking at maybe selling a Marquehi, Diomande, Frimpong. And things like this just make me lean into it. Elliot, I don't feel he helped his cause at all here today. At all. Sabozlai kind of helped his. Two boys up front disappoint me as well. Not as bad as our backline, but the fact that it is Coxall and Furtado that get the goals is kind of significant for me, I think. That is significant. Okay. So, I had to step away for a phone call, which lasted like an hour and a half. It's now 4:45 in the morning. So yeah, just over an hour, somewhere just over an hour. Beautiful, cause crisis with family stuff in America. Anyway, if my day wasn't going badly enough, then cool. This was a tight match. I think that's all we really need to say about it. But it's really interesting, like I say, that the players that came on, you know, they all did better than the players they replaced, and they all were not real players, and they all were new gens, a part of this new generation I'm trying to usher in, and things like this are a large part of why I'm trying to do it, but I still don't know if it's the right idea. But I do feel justified, at least in thinking this way. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Just, you know, is it time to go to the youngsters? And when I say the youngsters, like, even if I had to get rid of every real player and just go for like an under 21 squad, I don't feel that it's like crazily bad or like anything that I would super worry about. Ooh, that's gonna be King playing there. Okay, he's almost 2-footed, so that's fine. Um, yeah, midfield's where it gets tricky. Midfield is where it gets tricky for me. So, like Kyle's really a defensive-minded midfielder. He can actually he's a little more of an all-rounder now. I didn't really see him in this way, but hear me out. Central midfield support. He really does have a bit of the defending and attacking and all-round play. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think for now, if we put it there, we can always take it away later, right? That's not an issue. You are right-footed and Philip is left. Yeah. So that would probably be my midfield. And then right now, it will be those two. So yeah, you're losing out on a lot of your top-end talent. Luke's the only one that hits that 4-star. And you would be losing all these great players and everything else. That's unavoidable. But when you get down to it, like, that's actually a really solid defense. 3 3-stars and a 3.5. And the 3.5 is for Taro, who we've discussed how good he is. I don't hate it. Midfield, sure, you're giving up more Oliveira, Kyle Smith, but you've also then got to factor in that Zayden's coming into that and will be another 3-star midfielder. So he will instantly help that. Yeah, Davis doesn't help the lineup. These two don't help the lineup. And these right now, or when they get into the side, eventually it's going to take too long to help that lineup. So, yeah, I think we upgrade one of these midfielders. The plan was Zayden instead of Oliveira, really. And that would then give Smith kind of the second 11 defensive midfield role. So I'll have Velasco and Smith as my two DMs. I haven't done this in a while, like built out the actual like thought of the future side. Oh yeah, we just got Woodthorpe in. Not what I expected, to be honest with you. I really expected. I'm going to put Locker in midfield to take him out later because that way I can just click through things a little easier. But it does then come really, really interesting. The fact you got Woodthorpe, who could be a stud goalie too. Yeah, I think if I go by potential, that's gonna help us out more. We've got the two coming in. We've got 6'7" Ryan Williams, who I'm loath to play at right back because he's 6'7", but like, is he gonna get into the team anywhere else? I don't know. I think for right now, he's probably right back, and then Akena, Galina eventually, and Murphy. I definitely think there's enough there. Wow, Luke's not looking as good as he used to. His potential's dropped. Like, currently, he's almost as good as Carbone, so I'm not really worried about that. It's almost a perfect backup left back, to be fair. I don't know how sort of happy he would actually end up being in that position. But that is interesting. Yeah, I always thought it'd be Alex in there, but like I say, it ends up being Baldo and King. Yeah, it's a little interesting to me. It's a little interesting to me, but the Batista will go in with maybe him. I mean, this is kind of tricky now. Don't love the fact as well that he's only 5'10". I think this is where I sort of default on Ryan Williams as a centre back again, just because of his huge height. Yeah, I think so. We've got a defensive midfielder locked in. Don't mind Billy Andrews either, but like we don't need him. The second midfield becomes really interesting. Really interesting. Yeah, okay. We've only got one coming in too. I think really it's just going to be Sean and Lucas in that case. I don't know which else other way to do this. Maybe Kwan Suk for now? Maybe? Maybe? I'm not fully sold on it. I'm not sold on Gary Morris either. I think I'd probably err on what I know and go for Alex Waller, which is slightly better. And then Shane ahead of Morris and Wilson, who probably don't make it at the club. I still feel we could add a striker and not really worry a ton. But if this was my first 11 with Zayden in, and I mean, for now Murphy, but eventually Galena in as backup, probably Davis. Well, not probably, but Davis has to make the bench, and that's why I've gone for Thompson and Deacon, because they both look like good young strikers that I don't have a ton of depth for. Especially if I am thinking of selling Shaley, which I am. That gets Koopman up. And then Waller and those two basically become strikers 4 and 5 for me. I think that's okay depth. But yeah, if I get rid of those in the matchday squad and then still look, oh, I've completely forgot about Lasser. I completely forgot about Lasser. Yeah, these two are potential, but I don't think they're any good. Morris and Wilson. Evans is solid. Joel is solid, but I don't love his physicals. But he has 4-star potential. We got Ben, we got Akina, we got Jones, we got Andrews, we got Gethin. I do feel like we'd be okay running this as like a 22-man squad with probably that one change. Yeah, I think that's probably right. Ryan ends up being the de facto right back at 6'7". Lasser at 6'5", Di Battista 6'3", and Luke Griffiths at 5'10". If he was 6'1", that would be brilliant because it'd be 2 inches down from the right to the left, just a slanting back four. Yeah, let me know how you would feel going into the season with this being a second 11. Hayward, Williams, Lasser, Di Battista, Griffiths, Smith, Kwansuk, Jones, Reese, and Koopman. And like not only like into the season, but long term, these being backups or maybe eventually displacing first team players. But really, the only ones I expect to do that eventually maybe Carl Smith, Koopman, and Lasser. Koopman for sure. Lasser, maybe. Yeah. I mean, let me know what you think. I'm very interested to see kind of where people would stand on that. Just bringing in Zayden into midfield, and he would need to play on that right-hand side as a Mazzala, I think, to get the most out of him. I think that's kind of what makes sense to me. So he fits in this spot. But everybody else, like, could you run Marcus Andre as your goalkeeper for an entire season? Good championship player. Could you win the Champions League with this side? When Oliveira's like your weakest starter, and he probably is decently our weakest starter. All the potential in the world, mind you. Then yeah, I think you kind of have a case for being able to win things with this side. I think our average players, the 3 stars, wouldn't look at a place in a Champions League squad. There might be a little sort of under level you'd normally look for. I think we get away okay. So like Marcos Andre isn't that far away either. Really, it's Oliveira as the only one. Even the 2.5 star in Chile isn't that bad at all. I mean, honestly, with Zayden coming in, this was kind of the plan, except say he would have been sold. Andre's on the bench. And what I was actually looking at doing, supposedly to keep Zayden's spot, which is exactly the player I would expect him to replace and be like on that right-hand side of midfield. But Mamardashvili would still be in goal. Evan Ferguson would be up top. Zayden comes in to replace Szoboszlai. And I was going to run this squad. Now if I'm doing it, I would probably then want to drop Oliveira to the bench and get Zayden into that midfield spot and let Szoboszlai still hold on to his role, or more likely we keep Corby, we play around Corby, and still we replace Szoboszlai from this lineup. And then I think we're really strong in where we need to be. And that to me then becomes a very interesting question. That becomes a very interesting question. He's more the level of a Cam Humphrey 3 stars. But yeah. Rotation options not great. Especially midfield. That might be one area I'm a little too concerned to go full bore on. Like I say, your input would be appreciated in that. Very much so. Only going to praise Furtado, because everyone else I think was 7-6 was the second highest. I think Szoboszlai. I don't normally praise that, so I'm not going to. Should I warn anyone on the back of this? Probably, but 6-2s are so difficult sometimes. Like, I've never had a player below a 6-2 that had, like, a good personality. Never had a player below 6-2 complain when I said they weren't playing well. 6-2, I've had a couple. But it is, like, really rare. 6-3 is not as rare as it should be. But I am thinking of getting rid of them both, and I think they've both got good personalities, so they won't kick off anyway. So yeah, I think that's good. And Gay, for some reason, got up to a 6.4. He did start playing better without Diamande next to him. But yeah, I do worry about 6-3s, especially. Because I always want to say it a 6-3, but it's like training. I might want to say something to 685. Really, it's 6.65 or below that I will criticize, because I've not got too many bad reports, but also I don't mind getting a few of these people upset at us. And wages to turnover is crazy. Do we have the highest turnover in the league now? How do we have the highest turnover? Oh, I know why. I know why, because player sales are in the turnover, aren't they? I was thinking that was just like gate receipts and sponsorship, basically. That's not all that's in the turnover, is it? About half of our turnover is purely player sales, if not more. Oh, African 11. I was like, why is he in the team? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Oh, Real Madrid. Okay. Okay, so we beat them at the Camp Nou. That's fine. Wow, there's a lot of people. Garcias, concerned. Did you not play him? No, you did. Why is he concerned about his playing time? He's done okay. He's done okay. He's done okay. He's not bad. He's getting paid an absolute bomb. Good goalkeeper. Yamal did decent for Liverpool. Okay. More assists, less goals because we played him as a striker. They played him as a winger. Now, he's still natural. He's still listed as natural. Maybe he's not going to lose that then. Yeah, I definitely think they've been playing him on the wing. That's not bad. To be fair, that's not bad. Okay. Xiao Regao, delighted as a regular start. Okay, they're actually playing you. Yeah, they are. And oh boy, you're actually having a really, really good season, but probably the seasons you could have had with us. Your rating's really low, though, which is kind of what I was worried. You're always a better sub than a starter. But you're playing and you're doing good. Good for you, Makoko. Can already tell he's not being played. Yeah. Yeah. Very limited minutes. Still doing bits. His value's through the roof for someone that's just like not even getting onto the bench most games. Profundi, very happy regular starter at PSG. Are you still being played up top? Can I check? I can't check, can I? Used to be able to check whether they were being played, I think. Um, probably up top, though. That's some going. That's some going. Yeah, he kind of picked up what he left off with us. Galio, you went out to Korea. You went out to Korea. Yeah. Okay, you had a good season last season, and this season suddenly you're out the team. Not really sure what that one's about. Dorgu at Wolves, you should be getting games. You are. You're not doing too bad. They're not set up like we are, but you're chipping in with a couple of goals. Pavlovic, how much were you? Not getting paid as much as I thought you were, to be fair. Looks okay. Concern, surplus requirements, and listed for 13. I could buy him the second time for less than I paid for him the first time. Yeah, he's been good. I don't think he's better than what we've got. He's older. He doesn't really have the acceleration. He doesn't stand out at all. Ben get paid. Ben's getting paid more than Pavlovic. That is crazy. Al Hilal, ever present and having a great season. Okay. Good for you. Go get your money. Daniel James, we didn't sell him. He's been gone a long time, but his big money move to West Ham hasn't really paid out. To be fair, this is his best goal-scoring season in the Premier League. That half a season he played in the Championship, sure. It's a ton of money for someone I don't think did that good in game. Still at Everton, Liam, okay. So 5 seasons in. Did well as a bench player. Got a lot more games as a bench player. And then never started for the club in the last 3 seasons. That's poor. Maybe they just got great strikers, but I don't think so. Connor, at least, is playing. Just moved to Sheffield. He looks good. Joe, he's only just moved as well to Sunderland and is doing well. Do they have Ballard, or are you the replacement? Is it just me, or can I not even see Joe in that mix? I'm confused. So why when I reset the squads was nobody showing up? Okay, but Danny Ballard is still there. So he's not the replacement. Just sorted that way, maybe it was sorted that way. Okay. Let's make sure they're not fully sorted, but okay, that blows my mind. Blows my mind that they're not playing Ballard. Ryan Manning, West Brom, just didn't feature at all in the season, then immediately starts the whole next season's back to back. Definitely wasn't an injury either. Okay, interesting. I'm big Zan for Potnik. Concerned as a regular starter. Okay. I mean, finished off that first season in a similar kind of form that he was in for us, at least goal scoring wise. And then, yeah, he went from being a starter to a bench player and fell off a cliff. Still looks roughly the same as when he was with us. I mean, I don't know why. Got Andre Silva. Okay. Still got Visa. Got Shada, could play up there. I guess. Is Elliot eating minutes? Maybe. I don't get some of these choices. And we get people. Okay. So. Yeah, there we go. So Group A, Szoboszlai for Hungary. In Group B, we got Koopman in the Germany side. Scored 2 on his debut. So he's looking to add to that tally. But for England, we got Trafford, Gay, Mainu and Elliott in midfield, Coxall up top. In Group C, we actually have 3 teams represented. Frimpong with the Dutch team. Furtado and Balde, our future, are going with Portugal. And Gonzalez and Mosquera, both of which might be leaving us. are with Spain. Bergvall in Group D's got his move to Arsenal already built out. Chaley for Turkey and Ferguson for Ireland in Group E. And then Group F, Smith, King, Reynolds, and Jones. Didn't think Ben Reynolds would get called up. He's actually had a really decent season for Middlesbrough in League One. I think they went and won it. Yeah, comfortably. Despite a really bad run in it, looks like. 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss is not really indicative of their season. But yeah, he was kind of ever present in the best team in League One. So I guess that gets you a Wills call-up. That's not unrealistic. Lucas Jones. Peterborough were in the playoffs. League 2. Did okay, didn't do great. Was there for half a season. Or more. Actually, I think he was there the whole season. Yeah, he was actually there the whole season. So it wasn't ever present. And is a midfielder that isn't great physically and isn't great technically either. He's got a great first touch and technique. But his passing's worse than his crossing or long shots, which means, yeah, you kind of want him as an attacking mid or maybe a winger of some sort. I'm not convinced he makes it for me. But yeah, those two are a little bit of a surprise. Callum King's just developed obscenely well, and Kyle Smith's just been waiting for his chance in the team. I was going to say, is this removing them from squads? I don't think I've got that power, but it's just match reports. I don't really want 19 match reports. I don't feel that's going to be good for every round of games they've got going on. Could be wrong, could be interesting, but I feel I'll probably hear about it anyway in some form. Di Battista and Sanford up to the under 21s. Haywood at the under 19s. You're 15. No, you're 17. Oh, yes, no, you're not the one that's just come through. You're the backup goalie. You're the first one that came through this bad, yes. You're the one I was going to rely on, but we're inconsistent. Now we got a 15-year-old goalkeeper. That's right. Yes, okay. Wilson's one on Sean, Gary, David, Ryan, and Richard. And the 19s, Neil, Shane, Harrison, Josh, Ian, and Jordan. Don't really know some of those that well. That's fine. Oh, yeah, this is in Greece, isn't it? Okay, Athens. Yeah, so Real beat Alkmaar, AC, Napoli. We beat Galatasaray, Liverpool, and Barcelona. And Endrick's out, Mbappe's doubtful, and they didn't register Brahim Diaz or Ademola Lookman, who they've been trying to sell for 2 seasons. That's 4 attackers that probably would be somewhere in their lineup. At least 3 of those, because I think Brahim kind of gets in and around, or was getting in and around. Looks like he's actually on the transfer list. So 2 in their lineup for sure, though. And we got Bergvall, who misses out on our bench half the time. So 14-game run to the final. Saw them score 43, concede just 14. That sounds good, but that is 1 a game. That is 1 a game. So yeah, we won last year. Real are the quality. And I think it will be their defense against our attack, really. If they're missing Endrick and they're missing Mbappe, I know they've got more than that. But I'd still fancy us for it. Oh. If this isn't like a stubbed finger for a day, then FM is just trying to screw me at the last minute. Tied thigh for 1-3. And it really is the one position we don't have at least one good youngster to step into. Like, if it was Frimpong went down, Canelli can come in, that's fine. I think that's like the worst position that we could replace someone would be right back. Except goalie. What I honestly think is going to be Andre. On the bench. Yeah, I don't know what this looks like. I don't know what this looks like. I gotta be honest. In case something happens at Trafford, I think I've got to go this way. Yeah, I think I just flat out have to. I just flat out have to. I think I'm gonna let him cook with Cameron Humphreys. I mean, I kind of got to. Like, we'll miss Mamadashvili in goal, sure, but like, we got our back four in place. Most of the midfields as I'd pick it. Elliott just isn't rated for some reason, but Cam Humphreys gets the shout. And Evan Ferguson and Victor Roque up top. That does mean, off the bench, we can replace our defenders quite nicely. We've at least got a goalie that's okay. I wouldn't be too mad if we had to replace our entire midfield or strike force. Like, yeah. I'm pretty happy with all the options we have everywhere. And having Coxell and Elliott off the bench especially could be key. So who gets the last spot? Who really deserves it? And I've already made up my mind. Yeah, nobody doesn't have a future at the club, which is pretty much all those. And then these are all future backups at best. And then maybe for experience, but probably not. And like unregistered and away from the club anyway. Then you get into the actual players it could be. And like Evans and Waller, but I don't see any way I'm going to need someone there. Ryan Williams is interesting because left, I think left back's pretty well covered. Right back, I guess right back is as well, but I was going to say at least he plays two, so right back and centre back covered. Yeah, I don't really think I need a striker, and a third goalie I wouldn't need anyway. But he's been waiting, and he's always waiting. It does seem like he's always waiting, but Kyle is going to be the man. No. Other people could get shouts. for sure, but I do feel Kyle is the man. And if I was gonna say I like it's nice covering centre midfield and defensive midfield, but if Nico goes down injured, I put on Velasco, and if Velasco went down injured, I put on Kobbie Mainoo, and if Kobbie Mainoo went out injured, I could put down Cameron Humphreys. Like, they can all play defensive midfield. I'm comfortable with them all there. If they all went down injured, and I didn't have Carl Smith, I'm probably just pushing Di Battista in there, so I don't really think it's a position I need. But he's young, he's Welsh, he's from the academy. He's one of the few that's held his 5-star, or grown to 5-star. I don't know if he came out as 5. But yeah, when everyone else is losing their potential, he is holding his. And I really kind of appreciate that too. No point in trying to sign them out on loan. They're not going out on loan next season. They're both going to be in this first team squad. In case we crash, we save. And then we play Real Madrid the second time in a Champions League final in back-to-back years. Yep. Last year they destroyed us in the opening 20 minutes and had to change the entire way we played. You're injured, Georgie. Shut up. You're not even going to make it on the bench, son. You're injured. Your thigh's hurting. Sit in the stands. Travel with us, by all means, but you're not making the bench. They have changed. Huh. Okay. Interesting. It says that they've changed formation. But the way I read these formations is you still get your back 5, so that hasn't changed. You still got 2 defensive midfielders, so that hasn't changed. All you've really done is change 2 wingers. That, let's face it, we're probably gonna be inside forwards. And then no, just 2 AMs instead. That is going to put a lot of work on Nico to drop in alongside Diomande and Gehi so that they can pick up probably the midfielders. If the midfielders are attacking and pushing up into the box, then my centre-backs probably take them and they isolate Nico Gonzalez with Vinicius Jr. I don't really mind that. If I had my way, it would be Gehi on Bellingham, Diomande on Vinicius, and Nico on Xavi Simons. But we can't have that, so that's fine. Their back 5's interesting. They're playing Valverde at left back. Yeah, it's a very interesting lineup for sure. And there's people on their bench I would have probably expected to see coming in here. But off the bench, they're really dangerous as well. It doesn't matter what happens. They've got a great player in every position for sure. But you do look at Mbappe and think that's their main danger off the bench. Arregula as well, for sure, will probably be very dangerous off the bench. The rest of them I see more like for like, but those two for sure. Very, very scary. Um, try and take a little bit of pressure off and then build up. One thing to notice is Luke being aggressive. If I am going to bring him on at left back, I'm probably going to have to watch that. Yeah, I think the fact that Nico drops into defense does kind of allow us to go man on man. Oh, Raum's playing that. Okay, that makes more sense. I don't know why I didn't even consider that. Oh, I don't know why I didn't even consider that. Yeah. Why did I think he was in defensive midfield? I don't know, but yeah, he's going to maraud. He's going to maraud. And those two together can be picked up by my fullbacks. Siemens and Bellingham picked up by the centre-backs. Vinicius picked up by my defensive midfielder. If we do step up on an offside trap, there could be that transition where Vinicius gets through before Nico's in place. There is that. Metzalas are probably going to get eaten up by Camavinga and Valverde. I'm just trying to think this one through. Does that just mean that Kobbie Mainoo's realistically gonna be the guy who's just left unattended for us? Like, he's gonna see the ball. They've got 3-on-2 at the back. But that also means normally the striker will be playing in the half space between the defenders. But our strikers do go wide. So that's going to leave Militao with not a ton to do. He could step up and take one of the Mezzalas, or maybe Fofana Vivian move to take a Mezzala and Militao covers the other side. That's probably more likely. If Colby pushes on, Eder might just step out. Let's see how this opening goes. Cam Humphreys then, a free kick. Who's back? Diomande. I like that for a defensive point of view. I don't love that from an attacking point of view. Yeah, at least everybody's roughly in their positions. Okay. Good delivery, good start. And let's put the pressure on them unlike last year. I think Furtado was offside. Like, from a free kick, it's diabolical. Absolutely diabolical. But again, like, teams are just playing offside trap. That's the only thing they're doing against us. But yeah, to move that early. To also, technically, you're not at the end of the line, but you're at the end of our line. Yeah, this ain't going amazing. It looks like Nico's been absolutely scythed somewhere. He's recovering slightly, but an early injury for us. Same as last year. James Trafford gets it. This is going to be interesting because they are pushing up rather high, then they drop back. There we go. So they are going to give us space to play into. They are going to figure that they have the extra man on us, which they do. But if they chase a lot, we're going to have so many gaps and we can go and do a lot of things. That's wonderful. Oh my God. I picked him out as the man who'd have time on the ball. And he just destroyed Madrid because they just wanted to funnel Kobbie Mainoo outside. And I wanted to do this sub anyway. I was kind of waiting to see if he'd recover or not. But with the booking as well, I think it just makes sense. One Spaniard off, one Spaniard on. Velasco can come in there. Okay, that's Ferguson. Bruce Shin. Okay. Yeah, he got hacked on. I thought he was doing something with the ball. Maybe he was picking himself up to the foul. Looks like maybe Camavinga gave it up. But Dom's there, and Velasco is covering at the back. So, Diamonde get back? Gehi get back? One of you? Please? No? Who's tempting the offside line? It is gonna be him. Oh my God, Kobe Mainu. Like I looked at their formation. I saw one player they could not really pick up that might just get some space and time. Not really from the situations we've had, to be fair. You don't expect him in that formation to be running down the wing. You can't really account for a set piece play. But I highlighted him. He gets the assist. He gets a goal. And 2-0 down this time last year. Like early on, like opening 20 minutes, we were 2-0 down. Now instead, 31 minutes, half an hour in, we're 2-0 up. We've totally negated the way they play without me having to change anything. Because we're just better players than we were last year. Nobody's made a mistake. And yeah, we've had 4 shots, all 4 on target. We've made the most of our plays. There's been 3 highlights. I'm fully expecting them to be, like, absolutely crucified in that dressing room and come out with vim and verve to fully attack us. You know what? I'm going on a cautious for the start of the second half. Yeah, and should we get things done, though, boys? And should we get things done? Yeah, I'm not really happy at the back or up top. I mean, that was more for Evan than Victor Roque. Yeah. That's one to watch. It is a shame because a Barcelona boy playing against Real Madrid has scored, and I've told him that it's not really going well. I probably should have just... Yeah, I probably should have just individualized them all. Yeah, okay. Well, Luke is aggressive, and Victor Roque is not exactly happy with me. I'm going to praise the team. It doesn't normally end up well, but I do feel us being uncautious allows us to do it. Because they're playing so defensively and we don't need to score. And Dom for Oliveira. Cam Humphreys off. I don't need to make a change up top. Diamande's really not playing that well. And I don't love it. I'm going to hold off on the last sub because I really want this to be Luke Griffiths coming on. But he's already looking aggressive. And, yeah, I don't want the occasion to get to him. They've got Mbappe now on the left-hand side. They've got Rudiger at the back. Pepe's at right back for them as well. So what, they've only made 3 subs, I believe? I believe so. Feel pretty good about it. I know they're not going to be on attacking, so balance is safe. And then we're going to go to positive, and that should give us some control. Camavinga just got absolutely injured. Win that. Good boy. Come on, Oliveira. Come on. Come on. Oh. It looked like he was kind of in 2 minds. It honestly looked like he was kind of in 2 minds. Um, yeah, Evan Ferguson in both cup finals just ain't it. And I do think we need some legs up top. We definitely need some legs up top. Um, I don't like my options. I don't like my options, but I think Oliveira would be better centrally. I think we just drop back, we soak, and like that's as professional a display as you're gonna see. Real seem scared of us. They kind of beat themselves. I've got to say, Kylian Mbappe off the bench, but Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., and Jude Bellingham. But then you chose not to support any of them. Their formation kind of played into my hands anyway. I think the fact that they couldn't double up wide, they were very central up top, and we've got a sneaky back three with our halfback jumping in. And then we could just pick up their wing backs with ours and just nullify their entire five-man threat they sent forward on most plays. And it gives us a lot going in to the game here as well. But yeah, they didn't play well. They didn't look like they wanted it. They had 3 shots, all off target, an XG of 0.11. They fouled a bunch. They picked up the only injury of the game. Although Nico did take a knock, and so did Evan Ferguson, to be fair. That's kind of just anticlimactic as fuck. Congratulations, Kobe. Just unbelievable. And technically, just 6 trophies. The sextuple. Why was Arsenal so difficult and Real Madrid so easy? But yeah, also, let's be fair. I can kind of say me to a certain degree, but who saw Kobe Mainu being the factor in us winning that match? Going into the game, I didn't, but analyzing the tactics, I did, and it immediately paid off that way. Not in the situations maybe I kind of thought they would, but ultimately, yeah, they did. They left him go, and he dictated the game. Wow, just well, yeah, he twisted his knee. Magical. Okay, magical. So Rivera, he made a sub appearance, and like that's got him a medal. Andre was at least registered for the tournament. He never made an appearance, but he gets a medal. Cal Smith also only one sub appearance. He gets a medal. Um, and Jim Stratford, to be fair, only played one game, and that was that game, and he kept a clean sheet. Can't be mad at him. Lamine Yamal gets on. I think that's earned. That's deserved. Mascara and Bergvall before they leave the club. Carboni before he leaves the club. All 3 of those transfers already arranged. They pick up well-deserved medals as well. I don't know where the extra medal is. So we've got 25 players you can register, right? So why have we got 26? Sorry, where we got 27, I mean. Because these three are still registered. Which means Yamal brings us down to 26. Who's the player that... Oh, the under 21 players, right? There'd be extra under 21 players who I did pick. Yeah. Okay, brain cell. It's late as hell. Or early as hell. Back to back, Kobe Mainu, absolutely amazing. What do we get? 17, 21, 24. So the club made about 800 grand out of that. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's mad, you know. That's mad. The club made 800 grand. I wonder how much I made. How much did I make? Please let it be like 800 grand and the club make nothing from it. Santiago Jimenez, top scorer. That wasn't on my bingo board. Okay. He's actually been doing decent in Europe. He's not even done well in Serie A. Interesting. 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 Okay. 200 grand. Okay, do I... If I don't have a bonus, where's that come from? I think I do. Is it only a one-time thing? Well, that'd be annoying. What do we got? A year. Yes, we've got to go another season. Then we can play the Club World Cup. And that will mean then we can actually go ahead and try and win it. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, that is the one we haven't actually won, though. Everything else is just perfect. Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup, UEFA Super Cup, Community Shield. 6 trophies, 1 season as Centurions, with our best 3 players being Vitor Roque, Dominic Szoboszlai, and Evan Ferguson. Absolutely unbelievable. Let me have a quick look at the stats then across the season. Mamdashvili played more than anyone else. That's to be expected. Kobe Mainu with the second most starts surprises even me. I tried to play him a lot. I tried to get him going this year. And I think we just saw why. But across the season, I don't see that often enough. Yeah, it's a 7 rating across 44 starts, 6 sub appearances, 50 games. And he just hits a 7. So he got plenty of opportunities. 5 goals, 4 assists, 2 man of the match awards, 3 yellow cards. There's just no standout there, is there? Club captain Mark Gahey is second, Frimpong third, Nico fourth, Diomande fifth, and Ferguson kind of getting a lot of games as well. Again, as you'd expect, 6 clean sheets in 8 games, including that Champions League final for James Trafford. That's really good. That's really good. 24 and 54 for Mamdashvili, but 4 player of the matches for him. I do think Trafford had the better season, but Yeah, Georgie's just the better goalie. I don't think Trafford's stats look as good if he plays 54 games. I would still probably back Georgie in that, but I don't think it's as far apart as I would have guessed at the start of the season. I definitely feel Georgie didn't have a great season, and Trafford kind of had a better season than I would have expected. Okay, XG. Yeah, this is where we get to see some fun stuff. So Evan Ferguson should have scored a little over 35 times. He ends up at 37. That's absolutely fine. That's pretty much on point. Luke Coxall should have scored about 17 and a half times and hit 28. Now, this was a big breakout season from Coxall, but at the same time, he did overperform a lot. Kind of mirrored Ferguson's season, just with a lot less goals, really. He had one less start, one less sub game, but ends up with 9 goals back. And to get to those levels, he overperformed his XG by miles. So he probably will regress to the curve a little bit, because even Ferguson did this year. Shaley should have scored 12, he scored 17. Nico should have scored 11 and a bit, he scores 12, that's fine. Vitroke should have scored 10 and a half, he scored 14. Cam should have scored 8, he scored 11. And then we see regression to the mean until we come down to Szoboszlai, who should have scored 7 and a bit and ends up only scoring 4. So that's the first underperformer by some margin. Then Frimpong, Mainu a little bit more than they should have. Furtado did well. Diamonde slightly under, but not by a ton. And then the fine margins for all these 1-goal scorers. Velasco, Gahey, Oliveira, Kennedy, technically all underperformed. King, Di Battista, technically overperformed, but centre-backs are always going to get those chances. The only outfield player that did not score is left-back Luke Griffiths. Very limited minutes. I will say I think he performed quite well. And everywhere apart from the Premier League, he actually was fouled more than he committed. So he was definitely a positive player in every single element of his game. All over the pitch, all competitions, limited minutes, a few assists here and there. He is the only outfielder not to have scored this season. Which is fair. It is fair. He only got called up because I misclicked the button, and then we saw Carboni on the back of it. So I can see the arguments and everything. That's fine. So the assists, a bunch of players didn't get assists. Couple of centre backs, Oliveira, which is fair. He only was very, very late on and in minimum minutes getting put into a situation where he could affect the game. And even then, he did win a Player of the Match award, so can't be too mad at him. Yeah, Shaley, I think 17 goals, only 2 assists is kind of maybe a little telling. Velasco is a defensive midfielder. Luke, we just talked about not having a ton of time. And then Kobe is so far down, it's really surprising and not that encouraging. Vitroke as well, not great, but he's always going to take on more for himself as a striker, right? So that's fine. Philip Murphy reminded me a little bit of Cam Humphreys numbers when he had the 10 and 10, I think it was, on 9 and 9. I quite like that. Kennelly going to get a ton at right back for Taro at left back. Nico's a defensive midfielder, although he was moved around a lot and played Mazzala and even got hat-tricks. So yeah, his numbers might be up from that. Ferguson got a decent amount of assists. Coxall got a decent amount of assists. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with both those. Cam just overperforms what he is consistently. I have no rhyme or reason for it whatsoever. See, he's number 6 on our list. Bergvall's better. Bergvall are my starting 4 midfielders, all getting ahead of him. The youngster Velasco is right there with him, but Betten thinks he's got more potential. And Philip Murphy is right in behind him. And yet somehow he is just one of these overperforming players. And Frimpong, the only fullback that played like first choice all season without that much rotation. Should always get high numbers. He does. Szoboszlai, we just... yeah, I don't know why, but Szoboszlai is just amazing for what we paid. And he matches Harvey Elliott. Interesting. Player of the matches, Ferguson, Coxall. I think you can see why they're inflated by goals. Apart from that, there's Frimpong, who's inflated by assists. Furtado will be inflated by his assists, but less. Mamardashvili is kind of built off some clean sheets too. And then you get down to the actual impressive ones for the position they play for me, which would be Murphy, Mainu, who only got his second one in that last game, Cameron Humphreys, Nico Gonzalez, Dominic Szoboszlai. Like, again, assists can inflate. I think to be a 7 rating and to have 2 Man of the Match awards is crazy impressive for Kobbie Mainu. But I have half of those games and only be slightly better and not have too many games where you would have taken over. Philip Murphy with 2 Player of the Matches is also crazy. That is also crazy. Diamonde, Harvey Elliott, Mark Gahey. No Player of the Matches all season long. My starting centre-backs did not take over a game at all, ever. And in fact, didn't play well at all across the entire seasons. Elliott, to get 20 assists and not pick up a Player of the Match is deeply concerning to me. No red cards again. Yellow cards. I mean, to be fair, Diamonde also didn't pick up a yellow the entire season. As a defender, not playing well, not having any standout games, and yet no Player of the Matches. You'd think he's getting beaten semi-regularly and players are making him look bad, and maybe they were. I wasn't thrilled by his performances this season, but like, you'd also expect that to go hand in hand with him having to foul players. Because it's not like we conceded a ton of goals. He's not responsible for a ton of goals. So he never resulted in him fouling the player and picking up a yellow card. despite being in a prime position and situation to do that week in, week out, from what I can see. That's wild. To me, that is wild. Oliveira, 1 yellow card in 8 games. Interesting. Very interesting. Nico, defensive midfielder, 5 yellows makes sense. Jeremy, on right back, a little scrappy at times. A 4, he's a little prone to it maybe. Still, that's almost nothing. And Colby with 3 in the heart of that midfield, I'm fine with across an entire season, only 3 yellow cards. Like, I'm thrilled, even with Nico's 5. That's crazily low. We just don't get booked. We don't get booked very often. We don't get sent off at all. We got midfielders and fullbacks that can assist like crazy. We got strikers that seem to be able to score like crazy. We probably have one of the best goalies in the world. He just maybe hasn't been playing fully like one of the best goalies in the world. Oh, it's like, I look at that and I'm thinking, how do I replace 6'6", 16 strength, 20 jumping reach, and then some fantastic goalkeeping stats, highlighted by a 19 aerial reach, which 6'6", 20 jumping reach, 19 aerial reach. Like, surely there's no cross or set piece that should ever be out of his reach, right? Everything should be claimed by Georgie. If he's got a weakness, it will be running in one-on-ones and having to make a reflex save, which isn't that bad, but like, his distribution isn't great, on the ball he isn't great, but just like, he'll dominate his area. And he's okay against counterattacks. I'm not sure how I get better in goal than him. And I can make an argument that everybody else in every other position played really, really well, except Mark Gahey and Usman Diamande. But they weren't liabilities. It's really weird. But they just weren't liabilities. And despite being ball-playing defenders, I think the way we do play does kind of limit their overall rating. So I'm kind of taking that into account when you can see that all 4 of our centre-backs have far lower than everybody else around them. Velasco didn't have a great rating. Oliveira in limited minutes didn't have a great rating. I can accept that one especially. And Velasco is very much a defensive midfielder who turns into a kind of centre-back, so you can kind of take it, but you do judge him against Nico, who had one of the highest in midfield. In fact, you take Zaboslai out, he is the highest. So, yeah, definitely food for thought, I think, next season. But a fantastic, fantastic campaign. We did lose a few games. This one, it's not on purpose, but we did play the kids. Because, A, to get them time and games, which, you know, some of them did really well. And B, because we'd won the league and I didn't need to. And then it was just like keeping people fit, keeping people happy. making sure that they weren't injured. So going into the FA Cup, we were good. And going into the Champions League final, we were good. And we got kind of what we put into them, really. I think if I look at everybody, like we look at the Premier League, for example, losing to Newcastle at home early was worrying, especially on the back of this game against Forest, where I just didn't know how good we were. And this was a little nervy at times too. So it's weird coming off an early goal, not a great performance, but an early goal and then controlling against Man City to these two. Not really filling me with confidence. This I felt better about, but I didn't feel unbeatable. And then this was a breakout win, but it's maybe not great. The bad performance, we sneak, and then I think we start hitting the ground running is Chelsea. This I started feeling good about where we're at. You know, we probably got away with one, only having one loss in this period, and you know, picking up 15 out of 18 points. So being able to win this, that was huge. I think that got us on the run. Smashed Norwich, smashed Liverpool, really. Real dodgy against Man United, maybe, but again, it's keeping the win run going. West Ham, Burnley feel really good about having to rotate out the strikers as well, get a result. Then, like we did against Man City, Bournemouth get the early goal and just sit and soak. We do struggle against Brighton, and then again, I feel, okay, we start playing better. Brentford, a nice one. Arsenal, kind of that declaration of war on the league for me. It's like, we've had one good run. This is going to be another one. And Fulham, another one against Leeds. Ipswich, Everton, statement win over Forest, who, yeah, give us a really tough game at their place. But Marmitash really wanted that one. Then Man City, Newcastle, Spurs, Villa, Liverpool, Norwich, Man United, Chelsea back-to-back, West Ham, Burnley, Bournemouth, Brentford, and Fulham. Just like, that is the monster run. That is a monster run. And it really started with this Arsenal game. Like I say, play the kids, drop a couple of wins that otherwise we probably would have had with the first team. Maybe a draw here, but who knows? Yeah, I felt pretty good about it. And then just really, really good here. The only games we conceded it in were the derby games, to be fair. And we did play a young side. In part, we kind of rotated out, and we're playing reserves and youngster throughout this entire journey. So, again, I feel pretty good. I really feel pretty good about that one. FA Cup, again, just no more than a goal a game. Smash Cardiff, Stockport very quickly after. Newcastle, the first team to score a goal against us in the FA Cup. Good come from behind, really. And then Kennedy. West Ham give us a lot of trouble, to be fair. The League Cup and this one, they were one of the teams, them and Arsenal, pretty much the two teams all season. And for the last couple of years now, I think just play a certain style that really works against our formation quite nicely. So we kind of have to fight for those results sometimes. But yeah, I don't feel too bad. And then, of course, our first live com was that 120th minute winner from Coxall. And then the Champions League, just, some good results again. Late winners, late goals, just a constant kind of theme, honestly. Sometimes it was comfortable games getting late goals, and sometimes it wasn't. Freiburg was basically the first time we scored early and really shut up shop. Yeah, that was tough against Inter, actually. They were just tough to break down. They didn't really threaten us, though. And yeah, playing Inter and then AC back-to-back was kind of interesting, but I felt pretty good about our results. And in Galatasaray, a little nervy finish there. Got the job done really well there. But again, late goals kind of making it comfortable. Losing away at Liverpool, this did worry me. Just because I was trying to win all the trophies this season. But then early in this game, we got the 2 goals to put us ahead on aggregate by half time. And then when I was making subs, or planning to make subs around the hour mark, Harvey's second goal against Liverpool, I thought that was kind of exactly what I wanted to see from the team and from him. And we survived the late scare, but it wasn't really that close. And again, to have Vitor Roque, who didn't enjoy his non-existent time at Barcelona in this save, and Nico Gonzalez, who had very much a real time in La Liga, but yeah, for them to be the 2 goal scorers against Barca was kind of interesting at the Camp Nou. And we kind of took over. Had to go to extra time. A little worrying towards the end. But I do feel we were good value for it. And then just that diabolical display by Real Madrid. Like, Barca made us work for it. They made us work in this leg. They definitely made us work in this leg. And Real rolled over. They did, I feel, roll over. So, yeah. Kind of a crazy season. Can we go unbeaten? Can we have an invincible season? No, we're Centurions, where we've done the quadruple, we've done the treble, we've done back-to-back Champions Leagues, we've got the hat-trick of Premier Leagues, we've won every trophy we've been entered into in our history, I believe. Some in real life, some in game, or everything in game we've been entered for, we've actually won at least once. League Cup, FA Cup, Community Shield, Super Cup, Championship, Premier League, Champions League. I think that's 7. We've won all those in this save. Some multiple times. So yeah, there's really only the Club World Cup left to win, and that invincible season. And I don't think games like this, especially maybe this, these are little away trips to teams that probably are in the mid to low table and are going to just defend against you, that you just can't get going against and are overconfident for. This is what I think kills more perfect seasons. I gotta be honest with you, because this doesn't really count because of the way I treated that game. This is likely to happen just because you're outclassed by another team. That can sometimes happen. But I do feel good in most games like that, and it'll be a rare one. This I can't really explain. This is the one you can't plan against. You can't really mitigate. You can't adjust during the game to get away from, especially with an early goal. Because sometimes your team just can't get going. But if they're good defensively and you sneak a 0-0, it's okay for that kind of unbeaten season. That's, the invincible season's still on. But when you go behind and then you can't rally the team, this is my biggest worry. As a result that happened with Bournemouth. Maybe to a certain extent, the West Ham game here as well. That's definitely one. Yeah, that was the only one in that season. But there is one a season. There's always one a season. Villa away, 16 minutes in, we're 1-0 down. There's always one of these small losses or more. Brentford away, the same there in that same season. So we had 2 in that season. This season, we're getting battered by teams that are bigger than us. And at this stage, like Villa, Newcastle are actually player for player still better than us. So they're not really shocks. But West Ham at home. Again, like I say, West Ham just have a formation and a style of play which unsettles us. But it's those games that we shouldn't be losing that every season we've had at least one. And I'm probably only counting the West Ham in that season. I'm counting Villa, but especially Brentford in that season. I'm counting West Ham again in that season. And I'm counting Bournemouth in this season. As good as we've been, as good as we are, as good as we should be, etc., etc. I think that's the big challenge, to go invincible. That will be the big challenge. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much. I understand that a lot of people lost interest when we started winning in this save. I can't help that. I'm not going to sabotage my game just to help. And people have kind of questioned me privately on, how is this not a cheating tactic? And I'm like, well, explain to me how it is a cheating tactic. It's not full gegenpress. It's not exploiting wingers. It's not exploiting a back five. It's not exploiting 3 up front. It's not exploiting underlapping fullbacks or any of the things you can come up with. It's not exploiting a corner routine. Like anything you can come up with that breaks the match engine, this just doesn't do. It just fools you into thinking it's a very narrow formation when it's a wide formation. And it fools you into thinking it's a back 4 when it's kind of a back 5. Situationally, but it is. Does that break the match engine? Not really. Nowhere near as much as the other meta tactics and whatnot, but yeah. And I've done my transfers live on video, and I've done live comms live on video, and I don't know, if you still have your doubts, you can have your doubts. But at the end of the day, I'm proud of what I do. And I won't be showing you if it wasn't legit. But I do understand people are going to have the concerns, and people are just not going to want to see me win. But if you are still here, I really do appreciate the continued support. So, yeah. I am kind of losing interest in this save myself, just because there isn't that much more I can do with this team. The facilities are great. Like the facilities are the best in the world. The staff could probably be upgraded, but they're the best in the league. Possibly the best in the world. I could still get better in a number of positions, especially, I think, the physio, sports science, performance analysts, recruitment analysts, Maybe physios, but physios probably okay. Scouts, I've kind of kept upgrading. Youth coaching, maybe someone I could upgrade, but I don't know. First team coaching, I think, is almost as good as it could be. There's definitely an upgrade there somewhere. But yeah, the best facilities, the best staff, some of the best youngsters in the world, an ability to put an all teenage lineup out that could probably win the Premier League. It's a bold statement, just really because Marcus Andre in goal is kind of the X factor there. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. I guess I'd have to say 20 and under because Philip Murphy and Massimo Canelli are now 20. But that's kind of the point I'm making, as well as like a great first team who just won everything and blah blah blah. And we're sitting on 483 million in the bank. With a plan maybe to sell the first team squad and net possibly the same amount in player sales this summer. Possibly with an 800 grand wage budget. To fill when I'm probably going to have my wage budget just due to the sales I'm about to make. And a transfer budget of 363, which is, what, 71 million more than my original budget. And I did already sell, I did already spend 128 million. Yeah. So there is only one thing. Oh yeah, best affiliates I can get to. Good nations feeding into our youth academy, a ton of merchandise deals. The only thing is the stadium, which has been upgraded twice. We're up to 36,000. We started at 21,083, I want to say. We're up to 36 and 52. I mean, that's why I'm trying to make this money. Is for that. But yeah. Club World Cup. Invincibles. And a stadium. And if I can get a son, I get a son. But there ain't that much left to do in this one, so thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you think there are any other sort of goals or anything that we need to kind of look at. If there's anything you want me to explain in more detail, if there's anything you want me to kind of go over or kind of go through, just let me know. But ultimately, I think that's just where we're at. New stadium, which I still haven't heard back from the board on. So I don't know what's happening there, to be fair. But yeah, new stadium, Club World Cup, invincible season. Stadium's kind of a coin flip, because I can't even ask for one. I can't ask for anything with the stadium, because I did ask and it's kind of in limbo somewhere. Club World Cup should be fairly easy, if we're honest. And then I don't know, like I say, what's going to happen. We've got to be so good for so long that I don't know what we're really going to do. How can you not have a transfer reaction to any of these? Is my game bugged out again? Seriously? Okay. I guess there's no grades for anyone. Sure. Oh, there's grades for the loan. No, not all the loans. Okay. There's grades for there's grades for one loan. Nicholas Koopman. And I didn't like it because I didn't charge a fee. Got 500 million in the bank and they wanted like 20 grand for Koopman's loan. Just, oh boy. But yeah, great in the league. Most goals for, least goals against. Most wins, least draws, least losses. 101 points. Centurions, absolutely fantastic. Oh, Man City dropped. I didn't realize Man City dropped towards the end of the year. Man City, Man United, and Chelsea 10th, 11th, 12th. That's wild. Tottenham climbed up to 7th, pushing West Ham out by the end. Brentford just snuck into the Conference League. Villa and Tottenham for the Europa League. Brighton get into the Champions League. Fair play to them with Newcastle, Liverpool, and Arsenal. And yeah, Fulham and Ipswich both got some key wins. Like a month and a half, 2 months before the end of the season, they got out of trouble. Forest, Leeds, and Norwich go down. Kind of as expected, to be fair. Yeah, it wasn't exactly much hope for them coming into the last sort of 10 games. We repeat the win over Madrid, this time in Greece instead of Barcelona. We go to Athens. We do the job once more. The Super Cup, we beat AC Milan. FA Cup, we overcome Arsenal in the final. We beat West Ham in the Carabao Cup. And we beat Palace in the Community Shield. 6 trophies, 1 year. Biggest win, of course, against Forest. Match to remember. That run started against Arsenal, even though it was the second game in the run. That was the statement that made me kind of understand that, oh, this is going to be fun. And the goal of the season, Nico Gonzalez. Out of all the goals it could have been, the defensive midfielder picking one is nuts. We finally get 5-star worldwide. I mean, winning back-to-back Champions Leagues, I guess, will do that to you. Maintain our money from last year, really. A little bit more in total, not ton. And our best 11 does see Luke Coxall in it. Sees Velasco in it instead of Kobe Mainu, which is strange on number of games, number of assists, number of goals, player of the matches, and average rating. Mosquera at centre-back is also something I didn't notice until just now. And that's wild since he's actually already being sold, but it makes sense from a rating point of view for sure. And I guess goals. I didn't realize how many goals he scored. Manager of the month, September, October, December, January, and February. Evan Ferguson, kind of the star. Callum King, good passing. Assist for Harvey. Victor Roque was the signing of the season. Yeah, Evan Ferguson scored a ton of goals. Szoboszlai got a ton of assists. So did Harvey Elliott. Mamardashvili set a new clean sheet record. Evan got the Player of the Match awards. We sold Jamal for the most money ever. Golden Glove in the Premier League is Mamardashvili. The Golden Boy is Coxall. The English Players Young Player of the Year was Coxall. The Golden Shoe, the Golden Ball, the Goal 50, the World Footballer of the Year, the World Player of the Year, the English Footballer of the Year, the English Players Player of the Year, the English Premier Division top goal scorer, the Champions League Player of the Season are all Evan Ferguson. And the next gen winner was Daniel Furtado. Isn't that wild? So basically, Evan Ferguson is just him. Like, he is him everywhere. The young player of the season and the European Golden Boy with Luke Coxall, who almost matched him this season up top. And Danny Furtado, our left back, is the next gen player. And, Evan doesn't play in goal, so he can't win the Golden Glove. Who's he paid off? He's good, but I've seen better attributed players. He just seems to be the focus point in almost everything we do, right? Last season he played better. This is a more complete season in a number of ways. He played a ton more games. Didn't score that much more. I know, there's something about them last season. I was going to say even internationally, but he scored 9 in 7 and 13 in 10. There's really not that much difference in those seasons, is there? 7 in 7, 8 in 5, 8 in 9. Yeah. Yeah. Boy is scary for some reason. He is scary. The spell of football in the middle of the season was making Swansea City really set them up for success. A remarkable season for Swansea City. Really began to pick up speed in the middle of the campaign. They're deservedly champions. Yeah. Not the best start. It didn't feel good early. Like I say, we went on a little run, had a little stumble, and then kind of righted the ship, set the tone against Arsenal, big statement against Forest, and then foot off the gas as we look towards winning the FA Cup and Champions League towards the end of the season, I think. So definitely see that. And boom, boom, boom. Everything absolutely fantastic. Best 11. Josh Tymon still holds on to left back. I think Furtado's coming for that one. Stamenic still holds on to a midfield spot. That could be falling soon, but I don't know. We're still waiting for someone to really take over that mantle. The fact that Nico Gonzalez is on the bench and Kobbie Mainoo's our starting DM in our best overall 11 is wild. Cam just overperforms, and Jamal Ferguson kind of being the top two. That makes sense. Walter makes sense. Cabango's nice to see. Nico should probably be in the team instead of Mainoo. Harvey Elliott, yeah, sure. Coxall, yeah. Carboni, sure. Profundi, sure. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. More casual fans, more fair weather fans. We just gained another 17 million social media fans. Yeah, I don't think there's much to read into on any of that. Sign high reputation players say I haven't done, but apparently that doesn't really matter. Been satisfactory, really. Who have I brought since they've taken over? I guess Vitor Roque would count. Does Mosquera count? Are those high profile? I guess we only brought in 3 people, right? We spent 100 million to bring in a future centre-back, a future striker, and a superstar in Vitor Roque. I guess that was enough for them. They're going to be really upset with my 15-year-old, 4 16-year-olds, and 17-year-olds who nobody's heard of that we're going to be dropping 140 million on. Can I get rid of that? No. Okay. It's always worth trying. It is always worth trying. Atmosphere is good, not great. Support is fantastic. James Trafford doesn't love us. Vitor Roque is outside of the core group. Colby Mainu wants a new deal. I was going to say that's it, but no. Velasco, Cayley, Murphy, Griffiths, King, Di Battista all want new deals, and I've got the room in the budget. I'm going to have the room in the budget, and every single one of those is, I think, one or two are probably going to be squad players, and the rest are going to be breakthrough prospects. And most of them are going to upgrade into a higher tier. So, definitely could. Corby could as well. Could as well. Verts, Kvaratskhelia, Rodrigo, Saka, and Yamal. We're not bringing back Yamal. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with all that is. Yeah, let's go retain the Champions League. Why is there like 9 players in this meeting? Where's the rest of the first team squad? They're away on international duty, so I'm having an end of season team meeting with 9 players. Okay, that's it, boys. We're gonna retain the title next season. There we go. All 9 of you, just woo, let's go. Okay, that's nuts. That's just nuts. Yeah, I forgot about the damaged spine. Broken leg. Ooh, some dodgy stuff. So yeah, a lot to go over there. So let me know. Should I sign people? Should I sell people? Yeah, I think I'm probably just going to come back at the end of next season, likely for the next video, because I don't think there's much engagement on these videos right now. Like I say, I think people are upset that I'm just winning a lot. There's no jeopardy, there's no stake, there's no interest, and I'm not going to manufacture it out of nowhere for a false narrative. That ain't me. Other channels do that. Go watch them. I don't know of any that actually do that, but this is YouTube. I'm 99.9% sure that they do. So I'm sure you could find some. If that's what you're looking for. But yeah, I enjoy recording them. I enjoy playing the save, and recording them adds something to the save. But I'd probably be more bored of it myself if I wasn't. But I do think I'm probably going to play through a season, come back at the end of it, and maybe livecom the final game of the Premier League season if we're actually on for an invincible season. If that jeopardy is there, we will do that livecom, and that'll be kind of the highlight roundup of that video. And yeah, then it's really just the Club World Cup to do. So if all goes too well, that's kind of the plan. 2 more videos, 1 livecom, last game of the season to win an invincible season, and then the final of the Club World Cup. And I think we can kind of put a bow on this and say we've truly broken FM without cheating, without meta tactics, without meta training, without shortlists, without I don't know what else. But yeah. Yeah. It's been easier than I thought. And it reminds me when I took a break of almost 9 months from FM. Because I think I know what works and how to get it to work. And it just, yeah. It just seems way too easy. And all you really need is the one thing you can't really affect, and that's the board. If your board is decent, doesn't have to be good, just doesn't have, as long as it's not negative, as long as they're interested in developing facilities, I think you can do everything else yourself to make a club successful. But you need a board that's actually willing to invest in their facilities. And even if it's a bit of a struggle sometimes, be prepared to make deals for merchandise affiliate clubs. Those are the two things in that order. Develop facilities, which is training facilities, youth coaching, um, youth recruitment. And I guess developing the stadium, although that's kind of low down on your list since you can make money without a big stadium. So that's really low down on your list. But I think, yeah, a board that's willing to do that and allow you to buy a lot of young players and not have to buy star players or old players and those kind of objectives, which even then you can get around by just winning stuff. So it's not that big of a deal. But if they invest in the facilities, that's kind of all you need them to do. And when you are a little successful, they will go out and you will be able to basically pick your affiliate clubs and get the merchandise ones and whatever, and then negotiate those to put for them to send youngsters into your academy. I think it's like youth training or something like that is classed as, and you'll be okay. And I'm doing this theater of the mind in my head, and I'm just wondering. Yeah, there's nothing I can do. I wonder if I can say no. No. So I can't remove things, and I can't add because they've all got the academy players to train. Absolutely everything, apart from Newport, it's sending academy players. So American, Australian, Japanese, Korean, Dutch, Portuguese, Spanish, and Swedish should all be coming funneled into our club. We haven't really seen that much of them, but yeah, it should be. And like I said, I've got 4 that are just sending youngsters, and then I got 4 which are merchandise as well. So we're making money in Korea, Japan, Australia, and America, which are probably the 4 you want to go for. You can do China, but I don't think it's any better or worse. It's just the teams aren't better and their setups aren't better. And I don't think their youth development rating or country's youth development rating or whatever each country's got a score. I can't remember what it is. Um, something like that. Youth rating, youth development rating, something like that is, yeah, China's I think is much lower than these. So yeah. And Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, all very high. Sweden, I just like Scandinavia. I don't think it's low. Germany's a really good one. I'm trying to think. Argentina, Brazil, of course, but like Germany's higher than I probably would have expected it to be, or has always been higher. Italy's probably not worth going for, unless that's changed over the last few years. It's been a couple of years since I've actually looked this up. That would be interesting. But yeah, we're on a tangent. We're on tangent 4 because yeah, because I spent a long time recording this video, being ill, and I'm not editing it. So apologies, but no apologies. Men's Player of the Year. Oh, I got really excited for like 2 seconds. I saw the words new stadium plans. I was like, oh my God, what a way to finish the video. But no, we're going to spend 32.5 million to put 8,948 seats in. We're on 3652, right? Which means they're just going to put us up to 45K, which is, I believe, the max this stadium can go to. But I really thought it was a new stadium. But that's why we couldn't do anything about it. I guess we were locked in because they had decided to upgrade the stadium and never got back to me at all on whether or not we could have a new one. So at least we know. At least we know. I didn't really check when that was. Around 6 months. So okay, they're at least starting right away. So that'll be December this year. Lucas Jones played for Wales. Like, how with a 10 passing in midfield, I don't know, but congratulations. Did you play well? No, you didn't. I'm not really surprised, but I'm not picking that team, so I don't have a say in it. That's wild, though. Absolutely wild. Yeah, that means we probably could get a new stadium built. We probably could get a new stadium built. Yeah, this is where I'm going to leave it because I do need some time to go through and kind of upset people. Pull the trigger on upsetting people. Trafford, Diamonde, Frimpong, Nico, Cam, Harvey, Emeran. That might be it. I so wanted to put Szoboszlai in there, but he's been so good. I think he just survives. I think he just survives. Yeah, I think that's the 7 that I'm about to go and upset. Backup goalkeeper. Squad midfielder. Squad striker, who's really a starting striker. But I never upgraded him. I don't know why. I think because I was highlighted. Yeah, I'm not trying to sell Victor Roque. I was thinking about it, but I'm actually not going to. I'm going to sell Emran. So, yeah, ignore that. 4 regular starters then. A squad midfielder. A backup goalkeeper. And a future striker. That, I think, are my 7 first teamers I'm going to look to replace this season. In the reserves, I'm going to try and commit to the sales of Lotka. In fact, everyone that's 20 or over that's not going to make it. So Metello, Lotka. I got deals for these trio already. Samford and Salt. They will be... I'll be trying to sell those. Dylan Fletcher I'll probably try and get rid of. Stefan Slater, I think, we get rid of. And then maybe you try and cash in on Gary as well. Because he's worth a ton of money, and I just don't think he ever hits our first team, even on the bench. I just don't see it. Same with Neil. And he's worth an absolute fortune as well. It's worth keeping him. It's worth keeping him. Worth keeping him. We got two 25-year-old young strikers that we just don't need. So yeah, we'll see how that all works out, but we're definitely going to have enough bankroll to pick up any of the wonder kids that have come up that I've missed in my scouting to date. Might be a time for me to go scout a bunch of people and try and figure out exactly how it all works out, and is there someone worth dropping 50 or 100 million? Okay, we just get another 20. We get a 22.5 million deal for a year with a financial services company, whatever that means. That's wild. We got 14 new deals that are 59 million a year. Okay. I'm not used to this much sponsorship money. I really aren't. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here. I need to eat and take tablets. I'm verging on delirium here, to be honest with you. Yeah, I wanted to pause so I could upset people, but now I kind of want to wait for the window to open to make it slightly easier. Although I wanted to do it before the window opened, so they have the interest at the start of the window. There's a method to my madness, and madness is a good word for it right now. Oh, Evan Ferguson didn't win. Top marksman. Okay. Yep. Brain shutting down. But thank you very much for watching. I apologize. This is an absolute whatever fest you want to term it as. But yeah, I appreciate the support. As always, do check out the other playlists, the memberships that are available where I think we very briefly hit 1,000 and then a couple of people unfollowed, which I was expecting, to be honest with you. So it doesn't matter. I think we'll grow past that anyway again. So we will soon be at 1,000. And yeah, I think that's it to round things up. More fun and games to come. Like I say, we've still got a couple of goals we can hit. That new stadium will have to wait a little bit now that we're having the upgraded stadium coming into play. The Club World Cup, we've got to wait a season for. And just that invincible season that, yeah, you're never really sure if you're going to get it, even if you're dominant, because those one-off games always seem to happen at least once a season. So can we get lucky and kind of get through those games, those kind of trap games without it derailing? I don't know. But we'll see. Hopefully you'll be back here for it. And I'll see you next time. Till then, take care, stay safe, all the very best to each and every one of you. And wish me luck and health. More health than luck.